Um, my name is Shahalimi, and I am Afghan, but I live in Munich. I grew up all over the world, mainly in Canada. Why am I at DLD? I've been wanting to come to DLD many times. It just didn't work because I'm very much on the road as well. And the reason why I made it today was because I absolutely wanted to speak to Stephanie about the innovations that happen in my part of the world, especially the women that are so far ahead, and a lot of people don't know about it. You know, this, especially in the digitalized world, the software companies or the IT companies where women lead that, and a lot of people don't know about this. In Germany, I have noticed that it's very, yes, it is very conservative. I live in Munich, and I know that I can actually not judge it, but I can have good input on what it is like to be a woman that is not German, to live here. I must say that the first time that I actually felt like I was anywhere, that I was a non-nationality, was in Germany. And I have lived 30 years of my life outside of Afghanistan. I left Afghanistan when I was 11, 12. And when you come here and you work in a conservative or a very conventional way of thought. For somebody who's very unconventional, because I come from the arts, from literature, from communication and politics, and all of that I put into one pot to make to become what I am and to do my work today. It's actually good because it brings a lot of discipline into what you do, but yet it has a lot of negative aspects to it as well. Because in this world of digitalized world, of globalized world, the speed of things are so fast that you really have to go 2 steps ahead in order to make it, or to be successful, or at the top of the level or niveaus that you want to be. And therefore, if you are very conservative and you're very conventional, that doesn't allow you to become that. Today, as a lot of speakers today said, business as usual does not exist. That's what I heard. This is the sentence I think I heard the most. And I've been saying this all of my life, because to be only an artist, I'm not only an artist. To only write, I'm not only a writer. To do only philanthropic work, I'm not only that. I'm not only a mother either. But all of it together, that makes me the woman that I am. And to be honest, I'm really against the idea of putting so much emphasis on women. Why? Because that has a negative connotation to it. That means we have a problem. If you teach the girls and the boys at a very young age that there is no difference, because if you ask a question, a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old, to, I don't know, let's say run like a girl or run like a boy, they would run one way. They would run as fast as they can. But if you ask them when they're 18, 19, and I think I saw this somewhere, then they would say, oh, run like a girl, and then they're going to go do this little Tweety thing. And why is that? We have to stop and think and go backwards and say, okay, who's doing that to them? Because they're not born that way. So sometimes I often have a fight within my own mind to say whether these kind of conferences, yes, it has a lot of positivity. It's very much needed at this time in the 2014 era. But yet we have to be really careful on how we put these themes out there, to be very transparent, first of all, and to actually admit the failures that the systems have. Admit the failures that we have, and starting from ourselves. And not to be afraid to say, yes, I was wrong. I was wrong 5 years ago. That's because the 5 years ago, the world was in a different position. Therefore, the solutions that I had for the problems of 5 years ago do not apply for the problems of today. Because today we have new problems that nobody in the world had. The revolution, this revolution, technological revolution, the gender revolution that we have, and this gender revolution is where I come in, and that's why the reason why I was here, that's the reason why I'm here in the DLD conference, is because to say that there is a revolution out there, gender revolution, that nobody's looking at, and that's the third world. The third world, the women have been so hungry for so much education know-how that has been, they've been prohibited. I can speak very well from my part from my work, because Afghanistan is where most of my research is, and there's a huge revolution of women revolution that nobody's paying attention to. Stop thinking and looking at the negative things that are happening, but point out to the positivity part. And I always say that it's a domino effect. The more that you talk about the positive things, the more positive things happen. I mean, whatever way you want to look at it, if you take those women out, or those men, or those young women and men, and they're only 20, 25, and they're leading entrepreneurs of that country, why aren't we not talking about those? Why aren't we bringing those people in these conferences where people can see that, yes, I have 5 degrees, I have 6 languages, I have this. That's why I am a successful entrepreneur here. But wait a minute, what about that little girl that wasn't allowed to even go to school and learn ABC until she was 15? But she learned the ABC and got her master's and got her PhD by the time she was 25, and today with 30, she's a huge entrepreneur. Now those are inspirational stories that we should bring here, and to give really a little bit of a light, to put a little bit of a light into a society which I think is a little bit complaining society. We have to stop complaining. Stop complaining. Everybody has problems. Even a little girl of a 2-year-old has a problem. Stop thinking about the negative things and go towards what is working. And take the systems that work from other countries. Because we talk about diversity, integration, cultural, and all of that stuff. I have no idea what that means. What does integration mean? Because if somebody tells me, oh, you are integrated, I will take it as an insult. Because what does that mean, I'm integrated? Because I speak German. Well, I speak English, but I also speak French. And I speak my mother tongue as well. And I'm very proud of where I come from. That is what makes me me. The diversity and the beauty of every single person is the differences, not the perfect Barbie or the perfect Ken that we're looking for. And this is exactly, this whole mentality is a global mentality. And I think that the minute that you have these visionaries that come out and actually have the guts to say, well, excuse me, stop a minute. Those are the ones that are going to make a huge difference in this global digital era. We have to change. We have to adapt every single year, because every single year there are new things that are coming out. There's tons of stuff I don't know, but we just have to be open. I think it's the open-mindedness of people that is well needed, and you see those visionaries a lot more in these kind of conferences than you see outside. And that's what I think the goal of the conference has been reached, and it will be reached. I'm sure that they will do much things that are different and much better every year. But I think this is a good spot to start and meet these visionaries, because you don't meet them on the street. We're not on the streets anymore because we don't have time to be on the streets. And this is really, I'm really glad that I finally after 5 years took the time and had the time to come here. And I think I'm going to be, how do you say it, a very patriot to the DLD conference in the future as well. My projects are all over in Google. You can find them. I started my projects. They're basically awareness projects and fundraisers that use my art, that use my writing, that use my thoughts. And I have a lot of opinion. I'm a very opinionated person, obviously, but I think everybody has an opinion. They just don't say it. And if people would start talking about the things that are really important to society first, and stop thinking, I mean, we're in the global era. Start thinking global. I'm an Afghan, yes, like I said, I'm a proud Afghan, but before I am an Afghan, before that I'm a woman, and before even being a woman, I'm a human being. So first and foremost, we have to start at the basic bottom. The whole community is the world, and then go to the places. All of these wars that are happening for a reason, for the reason where there's a group of people that have this ego. It doesn't represent the whole humanity, and we have to find those women and men that initiate projects as such, that at the end of the day serves for a greater purpose than just making money. Be my guest, make your money. We all need to make our money to buy our food and whatever that we do, but make sure that whatever you do leaves something, a step, like a footprint, a nice, beautiful path behind, better than the ones that we had, because that's our duty. That is our duty as human beings, first and foremost. And then we should be thinking about, for God's sakes, our children. They will be governing us the day that we cannot even govern ourselves. So there's lots of issues to think about, but it's very simple. It's very, very simple. I mean, people try to make it so complicated. I initiate these projects putting all of my passions into one pot, whereas all of my life, people have told me, no, choose one direction. Why should I choose one direction? I'm a mother, I'm a woman, but I wear my cap when I go and bring my kids to school. I am all of that. I do not have to act like a man just because I want to be emancipated an emancipated woman and people want to listen to me. I don't want to be a man. I want to be the woman that I am. I want to be the mother, and I want to have time. But it is the society and politicians and all of the whole thing. They all have to work together, or else I can't do my job. If I don't have somewhere to put my kids, or after school programs or something like that, then I cannot stay here and listen to these wonderful speakers that are here until 6 p.m. I have to go earlier. So these are the kind of they're very tiny little things, and it's not that difficult. You know, people make it so huge. We all have to stop and go backwards a step. And you'll see that it will be way more effective. It's exactly like when you overworked, you stop and you go on vacation. You come back, you have 5 times more energy. That's exactly it. It's really, really simple. And the rest just follows. It's like a domino effect, like I said. The first domino falls and the rest follows. And that's, I think these kind of conferences bring these kind of people together, because it's the visionaries that have to be at the right place at the right time. They can't be everywhere. You have to have them at the same time. That's when you make change.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.